How to Steal a Dog, Chapter 17. To quickly review, in 16, Georgina went back to the house to visit Willie. Mookie was still there, and then Mookie started asking some questions about, what was so crazy is that I saw this lost dog sign that looked just like Willie, and believe it or not, his name was Willie too. So weird, so strange. So I wonder what's going to happen in 17. I knew my day was going to be bad when Kirby Price called me a dirtbag in gym and everybody laughed. Even Loanne, I saw her. And then it got worse. When Mama got off work that night, the car wouldn't start. She turned the key and there was just one little click and then nothing. Well, that's just great, she said, pounding her fist on the steering wheel. Me and Toby looked at each other, but we both knew better than to say anything. She turned the key again. Click. She flopped back against the seat and said a cuss word. Toby giggled, and I poked him to be quiet. My life just goes from bad to worse, Mama said. Then she just sat there, staring out the window at the Chinese restaurant across the street. A family came out, a real family. A mom, a dad, 2 kids. They broke open their fortune cookies and read their fortunes out loud while they walked to their car. They all smiled, laughed, and acted like they had the best life in the world. When they drove by us, they were still laughing. They didn't even look at us sitting in our car that wouldn't start. I wished I was one of those kids, eating my fortune cookie and laughing with my family. Mama turned the key again. Click. I stared out the window, praying the old car would start. And then I couldn't hardly believe my eyes. There was Mookie, pedaling his bike up the road towards us. I ducked down real quick and motioned for Toby to get down too. Naturally, he had to go. What? I sit there looking stupid. I grabbed his t-shirt and yanked him down. Then I peeked out the window. Mookie had gone past us and disappeared around the corner. Mama turned the key again. Click. I finally got up the courage to say, what are we going to do now? I held my breath, hoping she wasn't going to yell at me, because I didn't need that after that dirtbag stuff at school. Mama shook her head and let out a big whoosh of a sigh, then blew her hair up off her forehead. She turned the key again. Click. I guess we're sleeping here tonight, she said. I looked around us at all the places where there were people who would see us. The Chinese restaurant, the Quickie Mart, the Chevron gas station. What if somebody sees us? I said. Y'all go on over there to the gas station and wash up, Mama said. I'm going in the Quickie Mart and get us something to eat. I watched her run across the street, her jeans dragging on the ground. What if somebody sees us? I hollered out the window, but Mama didn't even turn around. The next morning, Mama walked over to the coffee shop to get her friend. How do I send this mail? Get her friend Patsy to drive me and Toby to school. I liked to die when I saw Patsy pull up beside our car, roll down the window, and say, "Come on, y'all." She had a big poofy hairdo that stuck all the way up on her head, and ugly sparkly earrings, and a cigarette hanging out her big red lips. Her car was rustier than ours, with bumper stickers all over the back. My other car's a broom. Honk if you love Jesus. Stuff like that. I climbed in the back seat and slouched down as low as I could. Please don't let anybody see me, I prayed, especially Kirby Price. Just before we got to school, Patsy said, "Look at that." Me and Toby looked where she was pointing. There was Mookie, pedaling along the side of the road on the rusty old bike of his, the little American flag waving in the breeze. I've seen that man all over town, Patsy said. He sure looks happy, don't he? I slouched back down in the seat and turned my face away from the window. I sure wish Mookie would get out of Darby instead of hanging around like he was. Imagine being that happy when all you got in the whole world is a beat-up old bicycle, Patsy said. When we passed him, she waved out the window and hollered, "Hey." Mookie tipped his hat. After school, me and Toby had to walk back to the car. It took forever, and Toby kept griping and hollering. Wait up, Georgina. Then he kept asking, when are we gonna take Willie back to Carmela's? I pretended like I didn't hear him. Finally, he grabbed my backpack and yanked. I said, when are we gonna take Willie back to Carmela's? I whirled around to face him. I don't know, Toby, okay? I started off up the sidewalk again. Toby trotted along beside me. She's looking for him, Georgina, she said. I know. I bet Willie wants to go home. I know. Maybe Carmela has some money now. Maybe Gertie gave her some. I stopped. Look, Toby, I said, I've got to figure this thing out. We went to all this trouble to steal that dog, so we might as well get some money out of it, right? Toby shrugged. I guess. What do you mean, you guess? I said. That's the whole reason we got ourselves into this mess in the first place. What mess? I started walking again, but Toby grabbed my arm. What mess, Georgina? He said. Are we in trouble? No, we're not in trouble. Then what mess? Look, Toby, I said, Carmela may not even get any money. If we take Willie back now, we probably won't get anything, but if we wait much longer, well, I don't know. What'll happen if we wait much longer? Toby said. Georgina, is Carmela going to call the police? No. What if she does? So we might get arrested. We're kidnappers, Toby said. We are not. Well, dog nappers then. Toby's face was puckering up like he was going to cry. What if we have to go to jail? He said. Shut up, Toby. There's no such thing as dog nappers. I hated it when Toby started thinking up stuff I should have thought of. Maybe we were dog nappers. Maybe we could go to jail. I pictured Willie's face on a milk carton. His head cocked and his ears perked up. Have you seen me? It would say underneath, and Carmela would be sitting there at the kitchen table with her Cheerios looking at Willie and crying her eyes out. What about Willie? Toby interrupted my thoughts. Think about him, he said. I bet he's sadder than anything. Shut up, Toby, I said. I sure didn't need Toby heaping more bad feelings on top of me like that. Neither one of us said another word as we made our way along Jackson Road toward the car. Toby kept on finding things on the ground and saying, hey, look what I found. A quarter, a cigarette lighter, a pencil. Then right before we got to the car, we came to one of those lost dog signs with Willie's cute little face smiling out at us. I shut my eyes until we were all the way past it, but I could still feel him looking at me. Then we finally saw the car. Toby darted ahead. Hey, look at that, he said, pointing to the ground. I looked down at a shiny corner nestled in the sandy roadside next to our car. Then I noticed something else. Tracks in the sand. Tire tracks. Bicycle tire tracks. But Toby didn't seem to notice. He just grabbed that quarter like it was made out of gold. I shuffled my feet in the sand, making those tire tracks disappear. Then I unlocked the door and climbed in the back seat. Me and Toby stayed in the car all afternoon, eating graham crackers with jelly and playing Crazy Eights. Toby kept asking me when we gonna take Willie back to Carmela, but I didn't even answer him. I knew that was making him mad as all get out, but too bad. I didn't want to talk about Willie and Carmela. I didn't even want to think about Willie and Carmela. I had this bad feeling that I got myself into a mess, and it seemed like everything I did stirred that mess up more. Stirred it up so much it was starting to stink. And that is the end of chapter 17. Bye, guys. Have a great day.